Learn to play poker with the Opie and Anthony Show.
No. Oh, God. She spilled my chips.
I'm sorry, sir.
Opie. Now clean it out!
That's right. Be a poker player, just like your father.
The Opie and Anthony Show.
Are you happy now, Opie? Are you happy?
Anyway, Anthony, what do you got on the Bugs Bunny cartoons?
It's more another case of political correctness coming into play. You know, Bugs Bunny cartoons. Grow up watching them. Warner Brothers put them out. Well, Cartoon Network is going to do this whole retrospect on Bugs Bunny next month. And they're leaving out about a dozen cartoons based on racial insensitivity, Opie. They are racially insensitive. Some of these cartoons you might remember parodying black-faced Al Jolson. Well, the truth of the matter is, Al Jolson used to do blackface stuff. And doesn't it give you a little insight into what was going on at the time that these cartoons came out in the 30s and 40s?
They haven't run these cartoons in a long time. Mm-hmm. These sensitive cartoons.
Yeah.
Our friend Buzzy, he has all the banned cartoons, the Bugs Bunny banned cartoons, and there were cartoons that were on TV where they show black people being lazy, eating watermelon, with flies around their head as they're taking naps under trees. Swear to you, this is Bugs Bunny, okay? They had Bugs Bunny cartoons where Bugs was dressed up like Hitler or something, right?
Yeah, there are a bunch of the ones made during the war where Japanese guys are portrayed as the big buck-toothed Japs, and they're
the slanty
slow,
eyes and stuff.
Big, like caricatures of Japanese people, of Japs. Well, they were calling them Japs back then. Well, get the Jap. And Germans, same thing. The big fat Schultz German guy. But it was wartime, you know.
There's Bugs Bunny cartoons where they had the swastika all over the. All over the cartoon.
Yeah. And Bugs always won. You know, he always kicked the Nazis in the Japs' asses.
They took those off TV years ago.
Yeah, now I mean
you can still get them kind of underground and stuff.
Yeah,
and they didn't stop there though, because then they started getting rid of all the violence from all these Bugs Bunny cartoons, which pisses me off to this day.
Because that's part of the fun. The Wabbit Season, Duck Season one's a perfect example where they started editing out where they'd get where Daffy would get his beak shot off. They would edit it out. Then the cartoon makes no goddamn sense. You're watching it, all of a sudden they're saying Wabbit Season, Duck Season, and the scene cut to Daffy putting his bill back in front of his face. You're like, well, that isn't how it went. That isn't how the writers and the guys that drew this stuff by hand years ago wanted it to be made. And if you're going to put out a retrospective on Bugs Bunny, you could present it in a way that, hey, this was during wartime, or hey, this was during the 30s when this was an acceptable thing to do.
You could pretty much go on there and go, this was so wrong, but we want to show you.
Well, you know what it is? Warner Brothers pulled it and said, no, we're going to pull a dozen episodes because they were going to put a disclaimer or something, maybe something like that. But because of the multi-million dollars that Bugs Bunny merchandising makes for Warner Brothers, they don't want to taint that image with a racist Bugs Bunny or a violent Bugs Bunny. So they're going to take out a bunch of cartoons, which you can't cover up what the past was. You know what I mean? And it was all done in fun. It's not like,
oh, brother, look, it's a porch monkey.
He's not saying that. I mean, I'd watch that one.
Which cartoons are they?
Black oil.
Which cartoons are they getting rid of?
That one, the one with the Al Jolson. Another one where he calls a buck-toothed Eskimo a big baboon. But he called everyone a big baboon. Get your hands off me, you big baboon. Right. It wasn't a racial thing. And who the hell calls an Eskimo a baboon? It's not a racial epithet for an Eskimo. So they're pulling those. And any of the other ones they deem racially insensitive.
Let's go to Oscar. Oscar!
Hey, what's up, fellas?
Hey.
Yeah, previous to this, they pulled one during wartime where Bugs was selling ice creams to the Japs. And he was calling them a bunch of slanty eyes.
Yeah, you call them Japs. And
that's great. what do you call it? Now, are they going to finally admit to the fact that Elmer Fudd had a thing against homosexuals and blacks because he was always going after Bugs when he was gay? That was going to be next?
He had a thing, yeah.
You never know.
Back to you, Russ.
All right, Oscar, thank you.
Oh, there you go. Taking it right back.
Let's go to Matt. Matt?
Hey, guys. The guy that's responsible for this is Jamie Kellner, who's had, like, a reign of terror over Warner Brothers Animation. He was the guy that canceled Batman, the animated series, because it was too violent for kids. He's the one that told them to redo the Superman series because it was too scary for kids and they couldn't sell it, even though it's one of the best cartoons ever. He's the one who canceled Animaniacs and replaced it with that Hysteria show. I mean, the guy's a friggin' tool. He's done all this stuff, and he's destroying Warner Brothers. He's the one who sold WCW to Vince for like pennies on the dollar because he didn't want, even though it made money for them, he didn't want it anymore. I mean, the guy's a tool. He's the one who let Buffy get away. This guy's destroying the network.
Wait, Animaniacs isn't on TV anymore?
No, because he didn't get it.
God, that was such a funny cartoon.
It was kind of a blast from the past. It was cartoons the way they used to be.
Right.
Because he didn't get it. That was the thing. He said, I've got an idea. Let's have George Washington with Pee Wee Herman voice and put him on there. And it was this stupid history show that made no sense.
People don't realize a lot of these cartoons were made before a lot of people had television sets. It was made, they were the beginnings of movies. You go into a movie, they'd show a short, a cartoon. Bugs Bunny cartoon. They were made for adults.
Yeah, they were made for adults.
Thank God. I hate this place.
During, Gone with the Wind. Before Gone with the Wind, you'd see a cartoon as an adult audience.
Right. Bill's got something to add. Bill? Hey, Bill. Hey, Bill.
Joe.
What's up?
Oh, what's up?
The one with the Japanese was actually called Bugs Nips the Nips.
The Nips. They called them the Nips. That's what they called them back then. Sure, everything's hunky-dory now, aside from an occasional submarine that comes up under your fishing boat. But, back then, they were the Japs. There were atrocities going on both sides. And it was reflected in cartoons by clever writers that were writing stuff for adults. Now they're trying to pawn this stuff off on children, and they're butchering it, and they're taking away the art that was making these cartoons. You know what I mean?
Devin.
More censorship.
Hey.
What's going on, guys?
What's up?
Listen, remember Hair Raising Hair, the cartoon where Bugs, puts the rollers in the monster's hair?
And it's dynamite.
Of course.
It's dynamite. It hasn't been on TV in years.
They don't blow up the head anymore.
They don't blow up the head. They cut that out. I think it's because Bugs is kind of femme in that scene.
I gave up watching the Bugs Bunny cartoons because, just like you said, there's a cartoon how you remember when you were a kid, and the scene like someone's head getting blown off or something is just flat out not there, and it's a bad edit. It just jumps to another part of the cartoon. It sucks.
It's the funniest cartoon ever, and they ruined it. I'm pissed.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, I just don't like the idea that they get away with it under the guise that it's something like, we got to be sensitive. No, it's not. It's history. How could you not show history? That's like, turn on a movie from back then and watch some of the issues they're dealing with. It's the same thing. Just because it's a cartoon doesn't mean it's for the kiddies.
Yeah, it's going to happen to Hollywood, too. The movies you watch.
Oh, yeah.
You watch.
We're always bitching.
Where does it end? You watch. Gary.
What's up, O&A?
You'll get some powerful people in place, and they're going to decide, no more gunplay in movies, because this has affected our society. No more of this violence.
How do they say, and they say that they're doing this to protect the children, because the children of today are so effed up, and people wish they could be like they were in the old days when these cartoons were airing and stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
When we grew up watching them, and people in the 50s grew up watching these things, but when they finally made it to TV, I'd be plastered down in front on Saturday morning and watch every cartoon on television. There's a little bit of hypocrisy going on there.
Today the kids know that there are really talking rabbits who talk to their duck friends and who have short little guys with mustaches chasing them around with guns.
Right.
Gary, what's up?
What's up, O&A?
Hey.
I got a couple of valid points here. Remember the old cartoons where they see something really whacked and then like a fish or something will come out of the water and say, well, now I've seen everything, and put a gun to his head and blow his brains out?
Yeah.
They don't do that anymore? Or how about the old like Daffy Duck, Porky Pigs when he was like really drawn weird, he was really psycho?
Yeah.
And he was in the hospital and he was trying to saw Porky Pig with the hand saw? Kids are going to go attack each other with hand saws? How about the Heckle and Jekyll cartoons when they called them magpies?
Yeah.
We all know where magpies are.
But they don't even do that anymore, right?
You'd be lucky if you even find them anymore.
Yeah.
You know, it was a good one that they used to cut the ending out of. And the ending was the whole friggin' cartoon. Daffy Duck trying to outdo Bugs on stage. And he finally does it with the drinking the nitroglycerin and gasoline, plutonium, and then he takes the match and swallows it and blows up. They would never show him drinking this stuff. They would show him come out on stage in the costume and then show him blowing up for no apparent reason.
Surprised they didn't show him blowing up
I
at
know.
this point.
They wouldn't show him drinking the gasoline because, a kid might drink some gasoline. It's like Jackass, only cartoons.
This is also happening with Little Rascals. That's why.
Yeah, the Little Rascals episodes are too racially insensitive. It's called history. You know? You don't look at it going, oh, wow, that's cool. Let's treat people like this, or let's do this. You look at it and go, wow, this is a nice little piece of history, you know? Gives you a little insight on what was going on back then.
And you know what? In a way, it was entertaining. Rich, what's up?
How you doing?
All right.
There was this Bugs Bunny cartoon where he's looking for like some carrot country or whatever, and at some point in the cartoon, Bugs Bunny's dressed up as Abraham Lincoln. He goes, "What's this here about you whipping slaves?" And that was one thing that they cut out years ago that I hadn't seen in a long ass time.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah, there's many examples of this, Rich. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem, man.
All right.
Bye.
Yeah, when Bugs is in Africa and he gets captured by the tribe of the and they got the huge lips on him and they put him in the pot because they're cannibals. You won't be seeing that.
Well, cannibals were black. I mean,
unga bunga binga bunga unga binga bunga.
Something like that, yes.
What'd I say?
And the funny thing is, they won't show it, but meanwhile, Bugs Bunny isn't a person, so he's a rabbit, for Christ's sake.
He's a rabbit.
He's supposed to eat them.
He's a cartoon rabbit.
He's food.
But if you could ever, I don't even know. Someone should help us out with this. There was a tape that was going around called band cartoons or something like that.
Yeah.
Someone put the tape together of all the ones that are just not seen on TV. It'll shock you.
I rented a couple of those like 2 weeks ago. It was called Weird Cartoons.
Weird Cartoons?
Yeah, and there were things that were banned and stuff. A lot of sexual stuff from Betty Boop and racial stuff. They had that one. It was called Lazy Town with the black people sitting around eating watermelon.
No joke. Under the tree, taking naps, flies around their
Flies
heads,
are buzzing
eating
around.
watermelons while like the white people are working around them.
They scrub up the baby, and then they go to dry him off, and the towel turns black. And the black guy's sitting at a shoe shine thing, but he's got no shoes on, and the guy shines his foot really polished black. It was sick.
All right, we got to take a break. We'll play What Did We Learn Next and wrap up this fine radio show.
Yeah.
What is this?
All right, what's the problem?
Oh, boy.
What's the problem? What's the
The
problem?
The Emperor is not happy with his coffee.
Oh, no. Are we going to have to break into...
Jim Norton. Coffee Diva.
Look at that cup. What brand is on that cup? I don't know. It doesn't taste good. I don't like it.
Where do we get our coffee every day?
I like Starbucks.
And
I don't like supporting the savages that run most of these delis.
You're insane.
Yup.
You betcha. You might be right.
Yeah.
What is this?
You want to taste this?
Wow, that's really nice. Throw it against the wall.
Knock down against the
Diva.
wall.
I want Starbucks coffee.
You betcha.
Jim Norton. Coffee Diva.
I know Starbucks is a big world order type of thing.
At least they're not funding terrorism.
I was walking down the street, and some construction guy was shouting at me, "Hey, show me your cans." So I did. And he plummeted 17 floors and was impaled on a forklift. But my tits looked great.
Please, wow responsibly. A public service announcement of the Opie and Anthony Show.
It's the O&A virus.